Welcome to Global Grit Conversations, where resilience, leadership, and impact meet across borders. I'm Pamela Campagna, Global Advisor, Professor, and founder of Blue Sage Consulting. Each episode features candid conversations with leaders, builders, and thinkers from around the world who share the moments that tested their resilience and the insights that shaped who they became. This is Global Grit Conversations. So welcome, Aarthi, to Global Grit Conversations. I'm so happy that you're able to join me today. We're very excited to hear about some of your experiences over the past several years in your career. So welcome.
And thank you for having me. Thanks, Pamela.
So maybe let's start a little bit. Can you walk us through your career journey and what's kind of motivated to get you to where you are today? We'll just start off right off the bat.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I just going back to my education, I did my bachelor's in engineering and then I came here for my master's. And that itself was a move I wanted to do to get to learn business. International business is where I did my master's. And after that, I was in a place where what should I do next? And I wanted to be in the intersection of business and technology because I come with an engineering background and I was very much in technology field. So I wanted to, get into strategy to understand the big picture of like why are we doing certain things and what are we going towards. So that's where my journey kind of started. And I started as a business analyst in a startup where I kind of got a chance to wear multiple hats. So, which kind of helped me navigate where my interests are. And from there on, I've been moving towards what motivates me. It's a mix of curiosity and learning.
So tell me, is there something specific that may have been a turning point or a decision point for you that moved you in the trajectory of your career?
One turning point. Okay, there are a couple, but
Okay.
one I could think of is like, yes, even like from my education, right? Like after I did my education in electrical and electronics, I had a career path to choose. Whether should I go for a career in the field I've studied? Should I go for my master's? Should I go for a technology field? Just because my my college had a placement where I could go for a technology field work. So that's where I kind of had to decide on what should I do what everybody else does or should I do what I feel like doing. So that's when I kind of made a move on doing masters. I wanted to still learn, understand, and even doing masters I could have done in India, but I wanted to do it traveling here is I've always been in a bubble, very close space, getting to know people. It was very easy to get with what I want. So yeah, coming to a new place, setting myself up, making people understand what I want to do. That's kind of like another turning point for me. It's like after my masters, what do I want to do? Should I take a safe path? Should I take something which is in my comfort level? Should I take the path which is risky? Right? So yes, so
So
that's
you
kind of
chose the risky road, it sounds like, huh?
I kind of did, yes, because like after my masters, I could have done like which would be a safe work, safe role, but I wanted to get into a startup because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to experiment it
Uh-huh.
because I was young, I had less commitments. That's when I wanted to experiment. So like I started my journey in a startup. I know there are many of them who had advised me saying that get into a stable job, work, and then once you are like well set, has more experience, then do a startup. So that was an advice which I did receive, but I wanted to experiment.
And so what were some of the support systems? It sounds like you were getting advice from people. Were there certain beliefs or was there other support that you relied on in making these decisions?
Yes. My family is definitely my big support system. Then it was just my parents, but then we had our relatives who were in US. So it was like reaching out to them, getting to know them, sorry, getting to know how the work environment here is. But my family has been a little more conservative. Like where I'm coming from, my family is very conservative. Sending a girl out there overseas without married. So I had a lot of pushback on that. Getting to get my family's, which is my parents, blessing to fight across that and come here was a struggle by itself. But yes, my family has been a big support system, and now my husband and my child as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, looking back now, if you could give one bit of career advice to those who have gone through, or maybe they're finishing up their academic journey, is there a piece of career advice that you'd give someone in those early years, especially if they're at that decision point like you were at? Is there any advice you'd offer to them?
I would say, like, don't be afraid to make the next move. Definitely reach out, ask people's experience, learn from it, but it's not that what they say is what you need to decide on. Go with your intuition, what you want to do. Like, even when you hear people's experience, like, out of 10, you would resonate to two or three, and you would actually start envisioning that, yes, I think that's something I would be happy doing, because that's what happened to me. I heard kind of like almost 10, 15. I reached out to 16 folks, and I kind of like understood what their experience, like what their career journey was. But I, as a person, was able to resonate to two or three of them saying that, yes, I think that's a journey I would want to do. So I got to learn more about it. And while you start getting, things are going to be difficult, but yes, make that extra mile to get your foot there, and then things would get easier. And don't be afraid to make the lateral move. It's not that always you need to get promoted to see that you are doing a career growth. It's like getting into a new technology, getting into a new product. Like that lateral move is also something which would help with the growth.
And you talk about technology, so you're working in a tech company right now, are you?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Can you say which company?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm working at Google as a technical program manager.
Oh, I've heard of that company. What does a technical program manager do?
So, a technical program manager has this fun job of like working with the engineering team as well as with the product managers closely. So, the product manager comes with the requirements from the customers on like, hey, what they're requiring, what they need, and those need to be implemented to actually get it into customers' hand. So that's where the engineering team comes. But this PGM, like, gets to work as a liaison between both of them to making sure that like whatever we commit to gets implemented
Okay.
and we get it out there. So you get to see the end-to-end picture of like how things get started to get implemented to get done. So it's definitely a very interesting role to be in.
And when you think about technology, what is your thinking about how you see technology, and in particular AI, kind of shaping the future of work?
Definitely. AI is AI is here to stay, and like uh here now that we are in a place where AI is also here and we are also in the mix of things, I at least see AI as a partner at work. So it's not now that who has the most knowledge. AI definitely has the most knowledge here. But where do humans or us come into place here is how we give the judgment, how we are helping with coordinating, calibrating, and like validating and doing AI ethically at work. So that's where a good partnership between us and AI could go a long way at work.
And when you said ethically, so what does that mean? Ethically using AI, what does that mean?
So, at least right now for me, it's like not all the data which you have can be put into AI to say that, yes, give me the answer for it, right? And AI cannot make a decision just like how a human does. So, just basing everything on AI is not the right way to go. That's where the decision making should be on the humans. And what data you put out there can be public data. So that's where that ethical comes into place on like what data can you put, how much can you rely on AI. So those decisions should be mentally made by us. So that's something to be very mindful of.
And another comment that you made that struck me, you know, you're a woman. You came here from India. You came to school here and you stayed here. I'm wondering, are there particular challenges that you feel that you faced as a woman in industry, and particularly around, you know, any opportunities that you may have had, or, you know, particular challenges that you faced?
Yeah, definitely. It's not very easy. And again, two things, right? One thing is like you're coming from a totally different culture to a new culture here. How do you adapt yourself here? How do you express your thoughts? Is it even right? So those things which are something to deal out. And then another thing is women. It's hard to, at least that's the notion I was into, that it's hard to grow as a woman when you have career responsibilities plus personal responsibilities. So one thing would take a step back. So that's something I as a person was having. So coming out of that notion, trying to make a living for myself, right? So that was hard. Like how do you compete with like being compete with making sure everybody likes me. So that double wind is always going to be there. And as a woman, it becomes even more difficult to raise your opinion on like, I don't want to come across too strong. I don't want to come across as blunt. I don't want to come across as like she's very overconfident or like, but then balancing out that, yes, okay, that's a good opinion to take. So it's always a struggle, but then make a step is what I understood. Like, these were things which were just on my mind. I was just trying to understand I should not make a wrong move. I should not make a wrong move. That was what was on my mind. But only when I made a move, I understood that this might actually worked out well. And sometimes it hasn't too. So it's like that learning. But that fear of coming out of it, even mentally, helped me.
So having that growth mindset.
Yes, very much. And to think that, yes, we can do it. Almost. As in, like, mentally constraining yourself that, yeah, this is a new culture. I mean, this is a new environment. Why should I give my opinion? Rather than, this is going to be a new perspective. Why don't I raise my opinion and see if people take it? So that change of mindset helps.
And how did you find your authentic voice? Is there anything specific that sounds like you pushed yourself and became more confident? You tried different things. Are there other things you did to really find your authentic voice?
I would say it didn't come easily to me. Even as a person, like I'm kind of little bit on the timid side. So for me, it was like finding that safe place first. Like when I got into a team, trying to get that trust within the team members, building that takes time. But I take that time as well. So once I have that time and I feel that this is a safe place, I open up. And then once you do it, it comes to you with practice. But that initial step is what took me some time, and I did take that time. Yes.
And so you've got a busy life, I'd imagine, right? So you've got your career and passion projects and parenthood. And are there any words of wisdom that you can share with others in terms of how do you balance it?
Yeah. One thing I've understood right now is that work life balance is kind of a myth. And don't blame yourself that, oh, today I didn't get this much done. Today I wasn't a great parent. Today I missed doing this. So I was always in this blaming environment where, like, I would be like, oh my God, today I didn't give my 100% here, I didn't give my 100% there. But now I'm now in a place where I've understood that sometimes it's just playing things out. So one day I might get more done at work. At home, I would be less, but that's okay. But it's a different calibration. But the next day, I would do more at work, less at work. Sorry, more at work, less at home. So it's a calibration which I should be okay with. So I'm trying to be more good to myself, making sure I get that balance, not on an everyday basis, but in overall getting that calibration. So that's kind of my way of thinking right now.
I love that word, calibration. That's great. It's a
Thank you.
great word to use. So when you think about transition, or and you've had many, it sounds like, or you think about crisis, what are some of the things that have influenced you, and the way that you find support through those transitions and challenges?
So, transitions, getting into a new role, that has been a transition. Getting into a new country, that has been a transition. And as an immigrant, too, you have to go across like visa and other issues. So, those are transitions as well. It's just that all these different types of transition, I rely on my support system, which is my family, like getting their perspective on things. Speak it out loud to them, like, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? So, this has been my way of reaching out. And like even when I go into a new team, new transition, I tell them that this is how I operate. Do you think I should continue doing that? Get those early feedbacks in so that like I make sure everyone's happy in a way that this is the expectation, and then let's do it better, or what should I improve, or should I continue doing this? Like setting down those expectations and hearing it out, and should be open to getting criticism, as in like not all feedback is going to be great on you. Taking that feedback with a grain of salt, seeing that okay, what did I miss? Okay, that is a valid feedback, I should take that into account, and getting that into the way I operate.
And how about with getting feedback from colleagues or mentors? Is that something that you do frequently?
Yes, I do. I mean, at work, you are mandated to get it every quarter, but even otherwise, I'm happy to get those feedbacks so that you might perceive something as like, oh my God, I'm doing a great job. This is how it's done. And then from the other end, it will be like, oh my God, this person is missing this piece of requirement. Why is this person not handling that work? It is always good to get that feedback to understand that, okay, there was something else I missed to note. So, whenever you're working on something very close, you kind of miss the big picture. So, getting those feedback would help you take a step back to see that, yes, in the broader scheme of things, there was something which was missed. There was something I could have done better. So, it is always good to take that step back to see.
Okay. And you've worked and studied now across different continents,
Mhm.
right? And you've worked among different cultures. So, are there any observations that you'd share from these experiences that you've had?
That's a good question. It has definitely been an eye opener for me because I've worked in India as well, and there things were easy to navigate. As in, I know how the culture is, how I can talk to get things done in a way. But coming to a new place where, and US again, it's just not, and that has a lot of immigrants too, so it's like a lot of cultures coming into play. How do you put your thought across with the right meaning and make sure that goes across well? Those are skills to get while you start working. So those I wouldn't have imagined, like sitting back in my comfort environment thinking that these are skills I would get to learn. Now another thing, with I'm a millennial, so like another thing is like I've worked with the older generation and I'm getting to work with the newer generation as well. So that is a very good mix too, to see that like from people saying that this is how things are being done to why do we even do this. So it's like it's a good place to be in, to get to be in the middle of both worlds to see how things are changing. So that's another interesting mix. When you ask that question, that is something just popped up to my mind.
Yeah, so it's interesting when I said cultures, and you're identifying generations as having cultural differences. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about, or maybe give some examples of what your experience has been working with those different generations day to day. Are there any examples that come to mind? You started hinting at one there.
No, like even at work, it's just that like mostly I feel like being a millennial is kind of like in this bridge position, right? So when we have our interns or like even the Gen Zs who come into picture, they have very new ideas, which we wouldn't have thought about. We have been doing things in a way that, yes, this is how our the person who did it previously did it. So we are going to work on the documents just like this. And the documentation is done in a certain way that way. But I came across few Gen Zs and the first question they were asked is, why do you do it? Why do you need to spend that time on it? What good does it bring? And the answer which comes to your mind is like, we are expected to do it. So that was a step back for me personally too, to see that, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? I was just thinking of timelines. I was just thinking of like, yes, this is needed for documentation purposes, but the whole picture of like, why do we do it? Do we need to get it better? Those are some things when a Gen Z or other folks ask, is when you get that new perspective. So like cultures too, it's the same way. Like when you have a new set of eyes seeing something, they have a totally different perspective. That is good to have, so that you get to see that, oh yes, that is something we missed. We should have that.
And how about working with the older generation?
The expertise they bring, the knowledge. It's not something you get through books. Like the experience at work, like the practice, few things. It's simple things like, who do you go to get this approval? Like in the documentation, it would be like, this team you need to go, but reaching out to them, you would know which person to reach out to. How do you get things moving? So it's that expertise. Like that's where like me, I like my position now, because I'm kind of in this bridge, right? Like where there are questions being asked and there is this expertise on the other side. So trying to bridge both, and this is a very good learning experience for me.
It sounds like it. And in terms of career development, what are your thoughts as far as how some of the different generations maybe look at work or look at career development?
If you like, my advice would be like, if you're thinking or not even thinking about career growth, still keep that learning curiosity within you. Like there are so many things happening out in the world. Like the technology is changing, the field is changing, the market is changing. So just keep an eye out, see what's happening, because if you don't, there are people who can just go past you and you will just be left behind. So you don't need to be like, I'm going to change careers, that's why I'm going to learn. Don't have that mindset. Always have a mindset of learning, because even if you are like a CEO of a company, you still need to keep up with everything which is happening. So I would say that always daily, even like 10 minutes, learn on something new, which would definitely go a long way.
And I'm wondering, along those lines, do you have any idea of where you might see yourself, say, 5 or 10 years from now? What will you be doing?
Good question. So 5 years, I would, I don't know. So like for me, I feel like I kind of like the work I do, but I want to get more technical. That's my personal interest in. So I would want to be in a senior role in something more technical, doing what I'm doing. So that's what my 5 years is. And 10 years, with how things are going, I might start something like on my. So that's the reason I kind of did my business too. I did my engineering and then I did my business degree to see what was out there. But like, and now with AI and everything, like entrepreneurship is something which is something I'm getting interested in. So probably something there, but it would be focused on society and community, because I always have something towards contributing to the society.
What might be some of the ideas you have, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure.
Society around society and community. Are there specific topics or products or services that you've got in mind?
Yeah. Like for me, the one thing which is of always interest is education, because like personally it's what led me here. Like, and even for my family, like my parents weren't doing great, and it was somebody's help helping my father get his education done. And that's what led him to raise me. And that has led me to come here, and I'm raising my kid. So it's like it all started with somebody actually helping my father out in India with his education. So that has stuck a chord with me. So I feel like I would want to do something educating kids in rural environment, anywhere they don't have much education opportunities. So that's where my heart is. So I would do something definitely in education and with AI. So AI in education is where my interest lies.
And by the time you get there, it will look so much different
I know.
than the way it looks today, right?
Very much. It's
Yeah.
very interesting to see how like things are easy to learn. Like even right now, I'm like using AI to learn a lot of new concepts. So I was so interested that how is this going to make education fun for kids? So that's something like I'm interested to learn and do in the future.
And by the time your child goes to school,
Yes.
it's going to be a whole new experience for them.
I know. I'm like, I'm, I don't know about her, but I'm very intrigued to see like how it's going to be. Like I've been reaching out to teachers already and asking like, hey, how are you thinking about it? And like all the, all the she's just getting into elementary, nothing big. So let's take it slow.
Yeah, you could be the super mom coach, right? The
Yes, yes, something on those lines.
So one last question, Aarthi. We all have inflection points, and I always think about, you're driving down the road, and if you decide to turn right, that sets off a series of events in your life, or you turn
Mhm.
left, and it's a different series of events. So, are there any particular inflection points in your life that led you to where you are today that could have been totally, totally different?
Good question. So when I was looking for roles, at least when I after doing my masters, after getting into my startup, and after getting into like yes, now, right now I've done my experiments. I know what I want to do, but let's get out there. Let's get into roles. So I did interview and get a couple of roles, and that's when I had to decide whether should I go for a role which would look good on my resume, or should I go for a role which would give me more chance to learn and grow. You can either be a big fish in a small pond, or, or like a big fish sorry, big fish in a small pond, or a small fish in a big pond, right? So it's that decision which kind of helped me. Like for me, I wanted to learn. Like I've always wanted to learn. So I kind of took a risk that time to see that I didn't want to see what it's going to lead me, but I'm going to go for a role, even though it's not a big company, it's not, it can be unstable. I wanted to take an opportunity to learn and grow. So that was a big risk that time, which I feel has helped me because just because I took that decision, I owned it. I wanted to do more to even to make myself satisfied that yes, I took this decision because I was able to get this out of it. So I don't know. I imagine still that what would have happened if I had taken that other decision. I would have been comfort, like I would be comfortable, but I don't know where if that would have led me to being here.
Wonderful. So, are there any questions that I didn't ask you that you wish I had?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything. But any questions on like you have asked others and you would want to, like now that in your podcast, like you would have asked many of them. And like, is there anything which is synergy with them and me and you wanted to ask anything on those lines?
Yes, I think, well, so the other episodes, the people that I've talked to come from very different backgrounds, very different industries, different life experiences. One theme that I'm hearing very strongly in our conversation here is the importance of your attitude towards learning and
Yes.
and having that growth mindset and being open to failing or being open to trying something you've never tried before, having that belief and that persistence that if I try it, even though I've never done it before, maybe I'll fail, but that's okay too. And so it's also about the attitude towards failure or experiencing things going a way that maybe you did not think they were going to go. I think that that's a theme that I'm picking up on all of the conversations that I'm having. So just thought I'd share that with you.
Yeah, very nice. Yes, that's definitely what I was like. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was growing up. It was always like, you study, you get this done, you will succeed. Like that's has been the motto. But like when you get into work, when you get to meet new people, is when you get to understand that yeah, it's okay to make mistakes. Because when you get into a new role, it's like, oh, what if I make a mistake and that sounds wrong on me? Those things were hindering me to grow. So once I got through that, it kind of helped me. Once you make a mistake, you're embarrassed, and then the next time you get okay with it. But that helps you grow rather than you sticking with it always.
And sometimes it's easier to hear people say it and say, yes, yes, I that makes sense. Logically, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
until you can really internalize it and you can really act that way, it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
And I wonder, did you have any classes in your master's program that might have encouraged you to look at a growth mindset?
Not specifically on that, but the case studies which I did in my master's kind of helped me understand that, like, oh yeah, they played with money and they made this mistake. Like, if that's happening, I'm okay with making a small mistake at work. So it's like those case studies.
So less impact, right?
So those case studies, in a way, were like, okay,
Yeah.
there have been blunders, which are like, okay, it's good to learn from
Yeah.
experiences. So it's like those case studies are like real life experiences, right? Like, so those things are not quite easy to get. And getting that perspective again, like in my master's program, I had so many of them from different cultures and different work experiences too. Like that time, I was very much. I just had 1 year of work experience under my belt, but there were so many of them who were very some like me, somewhere in the middle. But getting that perspective from different people on the same case study was like a eye opener for me too. It's like, oh wow, I didn't even see that side. So like those things kind of helped me towards my work as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you.
Aarthi, thank you so much for taking the time this afternoon to share your thoughts and your journey with us, and we really appreciate it. So I look forward to watching what you're going to do next, and thanks again.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine, Pamela.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope today's conversation offered insights that you can use in your own journey. Subscribe for future episodes with global leaders, entrepreneurs, practitioners, emerging voices, and unexpected guests. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and turning grit into growth.